For the fifth year in a row, the Waukon Indian football team is in the Class 2A semifinals, where with head coach Chad Beermann, Indians got there with a 28-14 win over North Fayette Valley last Friday night. And coach, not easy to beat a good team two times in the same season. Not easy to be a team who's pretty familiar with you twice in the same season. How'd you get it done last Friday?
Our defense played really well. I thought, and offense trying to get the drives, and we had 400 yards rushing again. And threw the ball a little bit. Didn't throw it particularly well on Friday night, but they had a couple big plays. They had a kickoff called back for a touchdown, and then they had a long run on a touchdown after we got stopped. We had the ball on the 2-yard line and got turned away, and then they had a drive that ended up with a 77-yard touchdown run to go up or to get on the board and tie it up. And then we kind of got a couple more scores and pulled away from a little bit. And, they made another score to make it interesting. And, North Fayette Valley's kids played really hard. I think we might have been a little bit more physical, a little bit more athletic, but as far as effort, their kids couldn't have played any harder than they did. And they had some kids got hurt during the course of the game that kind of impaired what they could do, but they kept battling.
In your running game, you mentioned another good night for them, almost 400 yards on the ground last Friday night. What has made your running game so effective here in the postseason?
Our offensive line. I mean, we've got good backs, Lincoln and Pat. And obviously, Pat's getting the majority of the carries, but the line does an outstanding job blocking, and opening up those holes. And we're seeing a lot of different looks and a lot of different blitzes, and they're doing, picking stuff up. And Coach John does a good job coaching those kids up and the effort that they give. And then we've got backs that'll hit the hole. And then when somebody's ready to tackle them, they're physical with them. And that's how you end up breaking the long runs is making one more kid miss than they've got. So
we mentioned this is the fifth straight year you've reached this point in the postseason. Is the routine pretty much the same as you are used to this over the last half of a decade? Do you ever tweak anything getting ready for the semifinals, or is it a case of you guys are so used to this that you know what to do from a practice and a preparation standpoint this time of year?
One of the big differences is we're playing at 10 a.m. instead of an afternoon or evening game, which is we're going to leave about 5:45 on Friday morning or Saturday morning. So that'll be change up for the kids. But other than that, we're watching lots of, films and our preparation time is about like it would normally be. We gave them easy on Monday, a little harder work on Tuesday just to get them ready for, with that extra day of rest.
And of course, daylight savings time no longer a thing. How does that change your practice throughout the week when things get dark at 5 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock?
We'll actually be outside till about 5 o'clock with special teams and some of the passing stuff that we need to work on. And we take it in the gym from 5 to 6 anyway, just to kind of get the kids acclimated to being inside, playing in a warmer situation. And so that's kind of how we've prepped things the last few years.
And I know playing indoors is a little bit different, even though the weather has been relatively warm here for this postseason. But this is a new group of kids playing indoors. How do you get kids used to the warmer temperatures and the climate-controlled environment as compared to playing outdoors with a little bit of wind, a little bit of chill this time of year?
Well, one of the big things is hydration. I mean, we push it all year long to try to keep those kids carrying extra fluids in their system. Because if you try to pump the fluids, in the last 24 hours, your body will react by flushing it. So we try to push that all season long, but particularly going into, knowing if they're going to be sweating more. And then you have extra timeouts during the play, but then you have a shorter halftime. You have a 12-minute half instead of 15. So that's recovery time. So it's just a different situation for the kids. But hydration is the big thing to try to push on them.
Southeast Valley going to be your opponent coming up on Saturday morning. What have you been able to find out about them through your preparation and study to this point?
Well, everything goes through the quarterback. He's a dual threat, throwing the ball very well, but is their leading rusher as well. has probably the best average per carry per kids. He actually reminds me a little bit of Hennessy if Hennessy was playing quarterback. I mean, he's that kind of runner. And then they have the Graves kid who's committed to Iowa. I think he committed after his freshman year. He is a specimen. He's a really good offensive, defensive lineman, very aggressive, quick off the ball, and good size. So, and obviously they've got kids that complement both those guys, but those are the two kids that really stand out on their film.
Do they remind you of anybody you've played this year, or are they just kind of a unique team based on the teams that have been on your schedule to this point?
They don't really remind me of anybody. Maybe Decorah a little bit with some of the formations that they run. Defensively, not a. I mean, we're seeing a lot of 3-front. They're running a 3-front, and they're putting that Graves kid at nose right now, and so that'll be. We'll see how they adjust to our off tackle stuff. They've seen mostly spread teams based on the film we've looked at, and particularly in the playoffs. So.
All right, Coach, here's hoping we can have another conversation next week, and you can get a victory on Saturday, keep your kids healthy, and hopefully we can preview a state championship game next week. Coach, we wish you best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Chad Beermann, head coach of the Waukon Indians. It's Waukon and Southeast Valley Saturday morning at the Unidome in the 2A semifinals.